Great ball sent cross. Yeah! Saint game! It is not a dream! Dream, man! Live it up, my boy! Live it up!
Hey, everybody. It's the Noisy Neighbors podcast. It's me, Joey McCune, joined again, as always, by Mark Mulvaney. All right, Mulv.
All right, mate. What a day for Trafford goalkeepers.
Okay.
Your man, what did we call him? The Jurassic llama, the prehistoric llama, David De Gea, has checked out at Old Trafford. And your other man, James Trafford.
Yes.
200 million
Thank
release
you.
clause.
Thank you. I set that price today.
James Trafford. Have you heard of him now?
Yeah, right?
That wasn't for you, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, what a day, man. What a day.
I know you were
live
pumped
stream.
on it. Yeah, I know you were pumped on it because you're a massive U21s guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Kidding me? Are you kidding me?
you love James Trafford's play this year at
City, Manchester.
Bolton.
When it comes to under 21s football men's, I'm kind of one of the main guys.
Right.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Cool.
One of the main guys.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Huge day. City Boys raising another trophy. We are going to get into a certain larger eared trophy as this stream goes on. Welcome everybody to the Noisy Pod live stream. We haven't done this in a hot minute, so welcome back. We are going to be taking some calls today. If you haven't been to one of these before, we'll explain kind of what goes on here, but basically it's a chance for you guys to give your take to us, the Noisy Neighbors. Truly one of the dumbest city podcasts going today.
Number one dumbest.
True. Yeah. Top dumb guys. So what we'll do is thanks, Chris. I do have a nice tan. I work outside in Texas. So, unlucky mate. España. So we'll drop a link in the chat and you just click that link. And then as long as you've got headphones and a camera, headphones with a mic and a camera, you can call in. You got to have your camera on so we don't have any situations. And then you'll be put into the queue. We'll see you down here and then we can add you to the program. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, give a big elbow drop to the bell. That way you get notified when we go live. And if you don't already and you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/noisypod. And for as little as $1 a month, you can support what we do. I understand it's not worth that much, but if you're feeling generous, have at it. So Mulv, what are we getting into today, brother?
We've got a theme, my brother. Brother. The theme is Champions League.
Yep.
Manchester City have won the Champions League. We've beaten the best teams along the way.
Yeah.
They are the best teams.
These are the best teams. The main event.
This is the main event, and City have won it for the first time in their history. So we're going to talk about how come it finally happened this season? Like, what was it about this team, the events surrounding this team, that made this one different than years past? So I think we'll kick it off with a bit of a history.
Yeah.
I've prepared my day job. I prepare spreadsheets. Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of a spreadsheet humorist at my office.
I mean, I think that's one of the highest titles you can achieve in the just kind of in the business realm.
Spreadsheet humorist.
Yeah.
Anyway, here it is.
People used to think that we didn't have production value.
That's right.
We've got sound. We got a soundboard. We've got
kablam. There it is.
Spreadsheets. Oh, PowerPoint noises.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Round of applause for my spreadsheet capabilities. All right, no, moving into it. City have been in the Champions League now for 12 years. I don't know if you remember, but we famously just missed out on a Peter Crouch goal.
Yep.
Towards the end of the season, and then famously got in via a Peter Crouch own goal the following season. So yeah, this was under Roberto Mancini. So what I've done here is I've listed all 12 seasons that City have been in the Champions League, starting back in 2011 under Mancini, and our progress in each one since that time, how far we got, who we got knocked out by, etc. So yeah, going back to 2011-12, this was what obviously we were finishing. What were we finishing at that point? Fourth, probably in the league. So we ended up in like one of the low pots.
Yeah,
we were getting tough draws, getting people like Napoli, Munich, Villarreal. The next year, Madrid, Ajax, Dortmund, all really tough draws for us, and we saw us exit in the group stage. Although we were unlucky in that first season, we won 3 games. And got 10 points with a draw. Typically 10 points sees you through.
Yep.
But we missed out. Following that, it was exits to Barcelona in the round of 16 under Pellegrini in consecutive seasons. He did get to the semi-finals in 15-16. Got knocked out famously by Madrid when we put in a pretty tepid performance. We were taking, I think, a 0-0 to Madrid. Is that right?
Yeah,
and then we lost 1-0 to a Gareth Bale deflected goal.
It was the Maicon years.
Yeah, I think Aguero hit the crossbar like in the final minute. Anyways, knocked out by Monaco the round after. I think those were the Mbappe, Bernardo Silva years.
Yeah, because Guardiola. So. So Mbappe, Bernardo Silva. They had a left back.
Flacao.
Yeah, Flacao.
Then obviously the memories become more recent and more memorable. Liverpool, bit of a basketball game. We lost that.
Yep.
Tottenham, famously, we went out to the handball from Llorente, and then the Raheem Sterling goal in extra time was ruled out by VAR because Aguero was offside. So pretty unlucky in that season before with Liverpool. Yeah. Because there was some awful officiating in that game. I think Sane had a legit goal ruled out. There were a couple of handballs. Dodgy. Leon, we don't speak of. Dodgy finishing going on there. And then, of course, we did make the final under Guardiola. Everything was looking really good. We were on a really good tear there. Everything seemed settled. The team seemed settled. The 11 seemed settled. And then he put out a slightly changed lineup in the final, and then De Bruyne got injured and
slightly changed.
Being kind. Real Madrid the next season, mate. We had him, and then we didn't.
Got him right where we want him. No.
And then obviously this season, mate, we finally done it with a record of 8 wins, 5 draws, no losses. We've beaten Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and Inter Milan on the way, losing to fucking no one.
Yeah, Champions League invincibles, isn't it?
That's right. So there you go, mate. That is the backdrop of this discussion. Is our history in this tournament. Just wanted you to recall some of the ways that we, how we performed in this, some of the ways we got knocked out, and just ask you and ask the listeners, like, what was it about this season that changed, that got us there, put us over the final hurdle.
Yeah. So I think part of it was, Pep not fiddling with things. in the final. It seemed like in all of the finals he stood his ground. Yeah, there was no changing. There was no switching things around for who we were playing. It was just, no, this is who we are and this is who we're playing. This is who we're going to go with, and it is what it is.
Here's a theory. Here's the theory.
Oh, I tell you what, this Rasmussen guy is on to something here. I do think not losing that's a big thing for winning it, is not losing the games. I also think Steven Reyes is onto something huge. I mean, having a guy, bringing Holland in.
Good question.
He's not the only reason we won the Champions League and the treble, but having a guy that scores more goals than anybody we've ever had is a big deal. You know, like we've seen some incredible goal scorers, Tevez and Aguero, and even Dzeko on his day, Negredo for a short patch. I mean, we had some guys that just couldn't stop scoring. But I know Holland didn't score in the final and the few games leading up to it, but he just attracts so much more attention than some of those other guys did, and he's much more physical than a lot of those other guys were. That I think it made us kind of unstoppable. The back line to a man was impeccable almost all season. Ederson was underrated, and then I think Rodri this season becoming the best defensive midfielder on the planet is
as predicted.
Yep, a few years ago.
Day one.
Yep, it's
Day
whatever.
one, Rodri stands.
Yep. Noisypod.com. Go find the article.
That's right.
Yeah, I think all of that contributed to it. Because we did have the toughest route we could have had in terms of who we had to play in the knockout rounds, and we handled them all. I thought we handled it. Pep's management of some of those ties was huge. So if we had a two-legged, so the quarterfinal and the semifinal, he went into those away matches, especially against Bayern, just saying, like, you know what? We're just going to bring this back to Manchester. Mm-hmm. Same thing against Madrid. We're going to bring this back to Manchester and then beat us there. We'll play our game, but maybe we'll turn up the shithousery and stuff on the road. But when you come to what has become again Fortress Etihad, you've got to beat us and 60,000 people. And yeah, I think it was just huge. I think all of that put together is what got us over the line finally.
I think, yeah, I agree, mate. I think there's loads of things. I think you mentioned being impeccable at the back. I mean, I think that was the sort of the final piece, because I think he knew how to win leagues. You know, he knew how to win the Premier League. But the Champions League requires, you know, being really tight at the back, making no mistakes, just being really solid back there. If you looked back at some of those exits we made, you know, we were giving up 3-4 goals to some teams. Monaco, I think, Lyon, I think, Liverpool, you know, and a lot of those goals were within, you know, 10 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
And we just seem to be able to cut that out now. The control is of course amazing, but the defending in the box is better than it's ever been. I think that was maybe the final piece of it. But let's invite some people on to talk about it, because there's so many. I mean, you can get very specific about players. You know, you mentioned Rodri's improvement, you know, but you can also just talk about, like, is it just the experience? How much did the you know, the thing that happened against Real Madrid last season impact them, you know? Things like that. I'd love to get into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop the link to join us in the chat. Again, like Joey said, get get yourself some headphones and have your video on. That will stop the feedback and everything, and the sound will be good. So, Joey, you dropped it in there, mate?
Yep.
All right, Joey dropped it in the chat. So come on board with the noisy lads, and let's talk about your European champions.
Time to crack open something to get me through this.
All right, what have you got?
It's not a sponsor. I just ordered it because I ordered something else through Drizzly, and the store I ordered from had a $19.99 like minimum. So I needed 20 cents, but this was like $4. But it's, what the fuck is this? It's Beatbox Tropical Punch. It does contain alcohol, so that's a plus. It's the world's tastiest party punch. I don't know if that's been confirmed or if they're just saying that.
It's like America's favorite Man City podcast.
Mm-hmm. And then the most important parts, it's gluten-free and glass-free, which I think is incredibly important. I'd like to not have any glass in my drinks. You know what I mean? What have you got? Vanilla latte?
I've got the old staple, the iced cafe latte from Starbucks. Yeah.
Incredibly cute. Love that.
All right. Boxed cocktails. Yes, Kevin. Ellie5 says now you have to beatbox. So
that is of all the flavors I've ever tasted.
What we saying? What we giving it?
That's
House rules. What's going on?
Of all the flavors I've ever tasted, that's certainly one of them, dude.
That's not an endorsement.
Let's just hope this is fairly painless. I think the move is I'm just going to work my way through this. And since it's higher alcohol than most things I would have, when I go grab at something else, even though the taste will have been in my mouth, it should carry me through because I can go get something better. So start bad, finish good.
All right, let's kick this off, man. We've got that LE5.
I think it's just V. I think it's a V. Well, yeah, I know you're a big Roman numerals guy.
All right, let's kick it off with a Noisy Pod favorite. Welcome to the show, all the way from down under, Patrick.
Yeah, down under. Oh,
there he is.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Can we talk about Raji? Can we talk about Raji? Can we talk about Raji? He scored in Istanbul.
He did. He really did. How are you, bro?
It's the only thing I want to talk
good
about.
To see you. Yeah, I better get these off. It's brighter than my future.
Are we in a hotel? What are we doing here?
Yeah, hello from Lima, Peru.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm hitting the road before preseason, so enjoying myself over in your neck of the woods.
In the mountains.
I don't know, mate. I might head up in the mountains at some point, but we'll see how we go. Yeah.
Have you seen those cool leaves they eat?
Yeah. They're meant to make you nice and chattery, which is just what I need, don't I?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, underwater with a mouthful of marbles.
Well, what do you got, dude? What do you think? We're talking about what was different this year. What finally got us over the hump. What's your take on that?
Are we talking just about the Champions League in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think certainly a maturity in the squad itself. I mean, gone are the days where we would just go hammer and tongs and try to beat teams 4-0 by half time and then just sort of, ride out the remaining 45 minutes, just as an example. Those days are gone now, and you could sense even as early as the group stages where we weren't exactly on it, and to be honest, like we everybody talked about we didn't come back with the best of form after the World Cup. I don't think we were necessarily the best of form leading into the World Cup. So, but you look at those results, like when we played 10 men away at Copenhagen, or even the scrappy 2-0 win at home against Dortmund. There was that sense of Pep just wanted the absolute control of the game, whether that just be in possession, not necessarily just the scoreline. So, for me, you felt like there was a lot more of a structure, a sense of everybody knowing their role, and having a lot more responsibility as players on the field as well. So, for me, it just felt like when things weren't going well, if things were going tough, we would lock it down and we would just give the team, we would suffocate the opposition. And then, of course, we just basically, when it came to Fortress Eddie Haddis, then we would just blow teams out of the water.
Fortress Eddie. Big, like Roman and Latin show.
Yeah. The classics.
Yeah.
Classics, man.
Somebody get some killers in here, man. Good Lord.
All right. I got a question for you, Patrick. Joey talked about the Haaland effect earlier on. Would we have won this Could we have won this Champions League with Aguero or Gabby Jesus?
With Gabby, no. I just think he plays on his passions too much. And as much as we love the guy and we love his work rate, that's the sort of thing that you would do if you wanted to hold down a lead with 10 minutes to go, not something that's going to get you over the line over 90 minutes. Aguero, yeah, I'm sure with the right tools around him, I'm sure he would have done it as well too. But what I've said before on your show, and I've also said it on the Mancunian way as well, is what scares me is you're already seeing elements of Haaland developing into that sort of, dropping back and assisting sort of role. So similar to what Harry Kane does now. And if he's already doing that in his first season and learning it as well too, then I'm scared for the rest of the league, for the rest of Europe for the next 5-10 years.
Do you think it also Haaland's effect is a little bit more like mentality? In that he adds another level of confidence to the entire squad, that they maybe haven't had before.
Well, I think he offers confidence in ways of not just the player himself, because the thing that stands out for me the most was it after Real Madrid or after the final when he was talking to Thierry Henry on CBS, and he's just saying, "What can I do to get better?" Like that really that resonated with me in a big way.
How cool!
But I think. It was. But what stood out for me too was just how quickly he bedded in with the teammates as well. How much he sort of shared. How much he enjoyed all the other players scoring as much as he enjoyed scoring himself as well. So for me, it's just like it's almost like he feels like a young kid living the dream. And when he actually decides to become a bit of an adult, who knows what we're going to see. We could see outrageous levels. We could see some tremendous things happening here. So. He just seems to have brought a vibe and, a vibe and a sort of mentality that we just haven't seen yet. And the other thing too is, let's not forget as well, is like defenders are terrified of him. So if they're going to drag 2 or 3 defenders on him all the time, then all these midfielders, they're all going to say, "Thanks very much, mate. You're going to let us feast on goals and that when it's your day off basically, or when you're not performing well."
Mm-hmm.
Anything tactically, mate, that's different from years gone by?
Why did it take so long to get Johnny Boulders up into the double pivot? I love that. I love that man to bits. We just got a new flag made for him actually, so I'll have to bust it out.
Hell yeah.
Look, I think the double pivot certainly gave us a lot more versatility in the midfield. The whole wingers thing, that's the thing of the past now. I think I just can't see us going back to that anytime soon. Much as we'd all love to have Leroy Sané back, it's just not going to happen. But yeah, I think that the double pivot and with such an amazing ball playing defender like John Stones, it's just I kind of feel sorry for Calvin Phillips. I know he's going to get a chance this season, but it's just like we've just put a Rolls Royce into a position that we weren't expecting to happen. I know he's dabbled with it from time to time, but now that now that he's fully matured into the consummate professional that he is, it's one of the best moves made by a football team in European football in many, many years, especially during a season too.
100%.
So just real quick, you talked about tactically. I'd like to get some credit. I've been calling for 3 at the back for 7 years.
Yep.
Joey McCune, podcast host of Nosy Neighbors.
Yeah. And is it any coincidence that when we finally switch to 3 at the back, we win the treble?
Yep.
You show me science on it. Says that. Show me anything that disputes that, and I'll show you a green fucking dog, dude. It doesn't exist. It can't happen.
Well, we saw the proof early on in the Centurion season before a so-called French left back wears number 22.
Gail Clichy.
Oh God,
it's French.
Yeah, the other one, the one that couldn't go on Big Steve's show. The
one that's worse than this.
Yeah, he was he was the one that was sort of Pep said it from the early days. He said he was sort of the key to playing a three at the back and being able to play, two forward with Jesus and Aguero. But when we lost that, we had to improvise. And I mean, fair credit to Zinchenko and Fabian Delph. Mulvey going to give us a champions.
Not that quick, bro.
We had to improvise. We couldn't go to what Pep's dream was going to be. So
yeah,
it took some time, but we got there, and once we finally did, we're champions.
Brilliant. All right, Patrick, we've got some people in the lobby, so
all right, mate. Just one second before I go. I'll get the Johnny Stones flag. 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Let's have it.
Australians, am I right? Who let an Aussie into Peru? Talk about just lax immigration laws. Oh. Hey, buddy. How we doing?
What's he got here? Johnny Stones. Johnny Stones.
Yes, the Blues excited.
Even with no headphones,
All right. Thank you, Pat.
Love you to bits, guys. We'll hope this thing on the Mancunian way soon, okay?
All right.
Yeah,
speak
love
soon,
you, buddy.
mate.
Yeah,
travel safe.
Look at me.
There he goes.
This is a good angle.
All right. Cool.
How do you not love that man, dude?
That's Patrick.
King of Sydney.
Everybody knows Patrick. Next, let's bring on I forget where Joe lives. I want to say like up north.
Michigan?
Yeah.
Kalamazoo.
Yeah. Anyway, here's Joe.
Nice one. You remember
Dude. Get that shirt off right now. Go Browns, dude.
I wore this to trigger you, but
that's for tomorrow. That's tomorrow.
Triggered.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm good. Yeah. How you guys doing?
Yeah, loving it. Good summer.
I'm still in mourning over the news that David De Gea is leaving United.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Do you have? Mulpry doesn't have it on the thing. Do you have like "Goodbye, My Lover" or anything on the board right now?
Yeah, Q James Blunt, big time. Yeah.
No, I'm still sad. I'm good, man. Like
almost.
Life is good for us City fans.
It is, mate. It is. So the topic is what made this season different? What put us over the top this time? You got any thoughts on this?
It's not different. It's just it always comes back to Pep, right? I mean, he's been there, and maybe he hasn't had all the pieces in place, but it's always Pep. I mean, look at us in January, February. Like, I think most of us had resigned ourselves to the fact that maybe this wasn't our year. Maybe it's rebuilding. Holland's great, but like something's not working in the team, and then Pep does his Pep thing. We go no fullbacks and central defenders and Johnny Stones in midfield and just like it's just Pep. It always comes back to Pep. I'm already pre-mourning when we don't have Pep anymore. Like I'm trying to already get myself mentally in that space. But
this show started with Pep Guardiola and will probably end.
You guys got to learn to just live in the moment. You know what I mean?
I'm living in the moment.
Nobody can predict the future. Pep Guardiola was only supposed to stay here for 3 years.
Well, we've got the man behind the Champions League right here, apparently.
Yeah.
The three at the back, man.
Pep Guardiola succession planning.
Yeah. Giuseppe Micune.
I grew up with a bogus Italian accent, and I'm like, okay, first piece of business, we're signing a Stupinian. I know we don't use full backs anymore, but we're signing him. Why are we signing him then? Because if I'm on the the accent.
Because I like
if I'm on the touchline, I have to say a Stupinian.
I don't know. I think it's Pep, and then it's just like sometimes everything just falls into place too, right? It's not Holland helped. Johnny Stones coming up into midfield helped. Pep helped. It all came together. I don't know, like hashtag analysis, but everything everything just came together. I put on Twitter So I watched the Champions League final in Chicago with Vic and the Chicago Blues. Big up the Chicago Blues.
Big shout.
Yeah, big shout. And had a buddy come in from San Francisco just to hang out and watch the game.
It's a flex.
And we got there early, and we got we were well in the. I think we got in the pub at like 10, and the game was on at 2. Standard solids. We were well pissed by the time it even kicked off.
Big Sam.
And the pub was great. And the vibe was great. When Rodri's goal went in, it was just absolute limbs. This is actually a good story. So it's packed, and it's literally like 99.5% City fans, but they brought in one Inter fan and one kid wearing a United shirt for some reason, and
we had one too,
and they put him like right behind us.
I have a question about the United kid. Were his parents with him?
No.
When we say
he was
kid,
with the Inter, he is I don't know, early 20s, kid to me.
Oh, old enough to bully and not get in trouble. Did you guys meme him relentlessly or like bring up anything about like where's your fucking bed?
No, I wanted to, and I was like,
nah, you gotta be mean.
Well, and that's the thing. Like the longer it went where we hadn't scored, and I was getting frustrated, and Inter were like shit housing and doing their Inter thing and like diving and crying and doing all the thing, and I was getting fucking pissed.
Italian.
And I was like, at one point, I did kind of like turn around and go, "How the fuck do you support this team?" and my buddy, and like kind of under my breath, but kind of not under my breath. And my buddy's like, "Dude, come on, like be cool." And I was like, motherfucker, like I'm just getting pissed. And this United guy behind me wasn't doing anything. And then Rodri scores, and we're just like limbs, and I turn around because I want to just high five and hug anybody I can. And I like literally was going to high five the United guy, and I was like, "Nope, not you, kid."
No, you should have done.
And then I walked past the Inter guy, like, not you either. So anyway, like it was just absolute.
Should have given him a mush.
I should have given him the mush on the way by, hugging everybody. And then what surprised me was like 30 seconds from time, I just started sobbing. Like I really was just like, and I couldn't even watch the last like 30 seconds. I was like head of my hands in the bar, and I was crying my eyes out. I didn't realize how much it meant, like how much I cared about this until it was real and it was going to happen. And then I couldn't stop crying for like half an hour.
The thing that gets me is seeing the players cry. That's what triggers me. Like you see Rodri immediately start running, right? And then all of a sudden he stops. And I think he's realized I just scored the fucking winner in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
I think it all sort of hit him. Like I was the difference. You know? Like, oh man.
Can you imagine? I can't even imagine that there's a footage from like, I think it's the other end of the pitch. And Grealish starts running towards camera like at the final whistle. And then he ends up collapsing on his face. Ake and I think Akanji are like hugging, and Ederson has just collapsed on the turf like he's just like it gets me. I get like the hair is like literally standing up on the back of my neck.
Double AK love sesh is so good.
So good.
So
good. Where does football go from here?
Where do you go from here?
So anyway, I don't know. I have no analysis. I really just wanted to talk to you guys about the feeling. Like it ended up being a big fucking deal. And I just like, I was in bits for a while after that. But just in the happiest sense, Vic and I, at one point were just like, kind of like arms around each other and both just crying, like red eyed, just so fucking happy. Just so fucking happy.
Well, no analysis works pretty well around here, mate.
Very on noisy neighbors. I figured you would appreciate it. Yeah.
All right, Joe. We'll let you go, pal. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, it's good to see you guys. Thanks
Big
for all.
Go get a brown shirt, huh?
Probably not.
All right. Well, watch for deer. Tell your folks I says hi. We'll talk to you later.
There he goes. Thank you, Joe. Oh, brilliant.
You know what? I love hearing everybody that like. Everyone that was like, "Oh my god," just started crying and all that kind of stuff. Because like I remember the first time I cried over the club.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that was their first times, but like I remember the first time I cried and I was like, "Oh my god, this takes up way too much, like just emotional space in my body." And I hate that. Just I mean, you have known me for a decade now, so like you know how I am at matches. Like I couldn't even feel anything. You know, I was so stressed out that it was just like I was just hugging everybody, and I was like, "Is it a dream?" I still don't know if I know it happened.
No,
I think tomorrow it'll hit me because it's like we're doing an end of season party for Blue Moon Dallas, and I think it's gonna hit me a little bit there. But
Absolutely.
It's just,
it has a
I love
really
hearing
saying
everybody
yet.
like having this outpouring of emotion towards the club of just something happens and you're just weeping.
Yeah,
It's so good. It's
that's
so
why
good.
we do this, man. That's
Yeah,
why we do
absolutely.
it. All right, next guest. Yeah, Noisy Pod favorite, all the way from New Haven, I believe. I got that right?
Connecticut.
Let's go. Let's bring on Richard. There he is.
Wow.
Richard with the record collection. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Look at this.
It's my living room, actually.
Flex.
Yeah.
That's a flex for Mold for
When your
sure.
hobbies take over your living room.
Yeah, yeah.
Mold with his 15 TVs and 9 guitars in the living room.
But I get it. I get it. You know what I mean? I understand it. By the way, Bob, I'm selling a 1977 Les Paul Black Beauty. If you're interested, I'll send you some pictures.
Yo, why do the white homies love guitar so much?
All in the DMs during the show.
Oh man, it's good to see you guys,
Why
man.
the
Good to
fuck
see you
do the
guys.
white
It's
homies
good.
like guitar so much?
Go on, Richard. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to see you guys. It was fun to hear you guys talk about like your timeline of your day. You know, that was hilarious, dude. Like, you know what? I was thinking about my time. I was like, you know what? I have a lot of PTLS, which is post-traumatic losing syndrome. And the last time we won,
Amen, brother. I'm
I
borrowing.
could not handle it, and so
Yeah.
I was pretty fucked up in the morning when I woke up.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
said, you know what? I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna go surf. I'm gonna go have a lobster roll, and then I'm gonna come back, and I'm not gonna turn anything on until it's time. You know,
Okay.
and yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's a different story. I've not heard
Yeah.
anything like that.
I had people
Gonna go
invite me.
surf and eat a lobster roll.
Yeah, and people invited
Also-
me to watch it at you know where they watch. It's a Liverpool club. I'm not going there. I'm not stepping foot in there. I'm
So-
just gonna be at my home. You know?
Surfing in Connecticut has got to be cold.
No, it's Rhode Island, but it's not cold in the summertime.
I mean, they're connected.
Yeah, they're all the same. Yeah, no, it's cold. It's cold sometimes, but not.
It's like how Wales and England aren't. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Your state.
Why? What's the point?
Your state's the size of my desk, brother. Like, I don't know what.
yeah,
Same
yeah.
government. There's no natural border. What are we doing?
That's right, man. Yeah.
Although lobster rolls do fuck pretty hard. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm with you there. That's a
It
good
was
call.
good. So if you're ever in Rhode Island, go to
Strand.
Monaghan's. It's on the coast there. They got two locations, but their lobster rolls top notch.
Got you down.
So yeah.
Hit up
But,
Richard when you go to Rhode Island next.
Yes. You never know.
All right, mate. So talk to us. Let's. The topic is why this year, man. Why did it happen this time?
You know, honestly, like I'm not gonna get all tactical and analyze because that's just look, dude. They get paid to entertain me, and I'm entertained. So I'm not gonna get any further than that. You know, and you know, I think they were just fed up with the bullshit. Right?
Fucking,
You had some guys
yeah.
that had
Enough
to
of
take
this.
on a new role. Look at John Stones. He had a job that like a lot of people will be like, I'm not gonna do, but I'm gonna do it.
Uh-huh.
You know, and then look at Jack Grealish. He kind of like, I think he was one of the sparks. He
Totally.
created a camaraderie. He was fun, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, and
I think this is an underappreciated element of this team and the
Vibes.
difference in this team and prior teams. Grealish, Haaland, the vibes.
How did we not even bring that up yet?
Yeah,
Expected vibes.
totally,
it was
mate.
it was just more for me. Like it was more vibes. Like when they got back from the World Cup and they started, like anytime, like you know, they were learning from losing.
Yeah,
And then they would come back and you would see like a different change. You know, like I don't know. I think they just were like, fuck this. You know, you know what I mean? Seriously, like they had
Actually,
so
we're
much
done.
pressure. And you know what's so funny is I was thinking about something Mulv told me like a year ago about how like we don't want to diminish accomplishments.
Oh, yeah.
And you know,
Get that. Could you try?
oh sorry.
No, what's Siri's take on this?
Yeah, you know, and I play co-ed soccer on Tuesday nights, and I got there after the Champions League, and you got a couple of Liverpool fans on my team. They started talking shit, and I go, "Look, I don't want to diminish your accomplishments."
Well done, mate.
And they're like, "You know what? You're right." congrats. You know what I mean? You know, it's like
the other cheek guy.
Yeah,
just kind of.
No, absolutely. I think because the more you compliment and big up other people's achievements, the bigger ours are. The bigger ours are.
You know, it's
Are
like
you good, brother.
No.
But you know, but that was the vibe that I felt from them, right? Like we're not gonna think about anything else but winning games and like getting this Champions League, you know. And I can recall like Joey saying, "I don't care about anything this year but the Champions League." That was a few podcasts ago.
Yeah.
But
because it's a middle finger to everybody.
Yeah, but I think you should have that attitude from now on because then we just fuck everything up after that.
Amen.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
before, and that everyone said we didn't have, and now we've done it. So now we can go into every competition just double birds to the sky.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I'm not going to get into the technical. That's what Pep's for. But like, I want to say it was all vibes. It's all vibes.
What about what Amit says here, or Amit? I'm not sure. Amit. Thanks for your comment, mate. Ruben Diaz got his mojo back. Really changed our defense.
Dude, that guy's a natural born leader. Did you ever see him like in huddles at Benfica? Like he needed to get his mojo. I think it doesn't. This team doesn't work without like those strong personalities that bring it all together.
I think it's always been that way.
Yeah. You got Diaz, you got Grealish, you got Holland. You know, I think they really bring it together because like you can see like Kevin De Bruyne gets hot headed sometimes, but they kind of bring him down. You know, like all right, come on, let's get to it. You know, and
calmer.
Yeah.
So who would be your captain this season coming up?
Dude, I don't know, man. It's a tough choice. Because you don't know who you're losing.
I know too. You're not losing.
I have a theory.
I'll tell you who I think just out of sheer respect, KDB, but like I would appreciate like Bernardo or Ruben. Yeah.
I don't
if
think
Bernardo doesn't leave.
I don't think they've been giving it out based on leadership qualities. I think they've been giving it out based on who's leaving. And I don't know that we have anybody in this season coming up who might be leaving. Well, there'll be somebody, but I don't think it's obvious that somebody's definitely leaving at the end of the season. So therefore, I think you can give it to. I think what they're going to do is give it to who they want to be seen lifting the trophy at the end of the season. Right? I think that's what they've been doing.
Yeah. I love when Mulv has theories.
This is wild.
Theory.
Like Mulv, I bring up like aliens and shit to Mulv and like, group chats and text messages and stuff. And then Mulv's theories are like, I have an idea. City has a picture in their brain of someone lifting a trophy, but he's leaving.
Yes.
So that's the
there's nobody who's obviously leaving, but there is a person I think who is sort of the face of the team, like globally, marketing wise.
Oh, Scott Carson.
Wise. No, not Scott Carson.
I love that.
And that's and it may not be the guy with the best leadership qualities or the most vocal. Yeah. I think if it was, it would be probably Ruben Diaz, but I think they're going to give it to Kevin.
Yeah.
Because I think the club wants Kevin De Bruyne holding up trophy after trophy before he leaves the club. So there'll be a time and a place for Ruben and Rodri and those other guys, but it's not yet.
Can I tell you why Kevin being captain makes sense? Is he was co-captain this year.
Yeah, him and Kevin, right?
It was Gundo, Kevin, and Kyle. So I think the progression would be Kevin, Ruben is co-captain. Now, if the whole league was just based off of who takes the best thirst traps, it's Ruben by a country mile, because this man is on Instagram spraying himself half nude down with water.
Well, whoever the captain is, as long as Pep Guardiola is our manager, is the gaffer, everyone's just participating, and that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. You know what I mean? As long as he's with us, everyone in the Premier League is just participating. So, the captain or no captain, I think
City in 19 also rans. I love that idea.
Yeah. So,
hey, we're going to continue to talk to Richard for a minute, but I have dropped the link in the chat for anybody else who wants to come on and talk about City with us. Welcome. Links in the chat. Put some headphones on. We'll bring you on.
But
right.
I just want to I just want to say thank you for not falling into that transfer gossip. It's kind of fun. You kind of make fun of it, which I think is pretty neat. So I think you should have a show just on like all the bullshit that's getting spouted off. You know what I mean? Like, I saw some guy put up a picture of like supposedly Guardiola with the Premier League trophy. I go, what are you on crack? That's not him. You know what I mean?
It's fun.
You know,
it's just funny you mention that, because before we came on air, Joey said, if this whole Champions League chatter dries up, I have some other things I want to talk about. And he goes, one of them is, are people really that wound up about City's transfer business so far? So hey, let's do it now. So it sounds like you're not that worried.
No, you make me not worried.
Oh, okay.
Aww.
Because that's very kind. I mean,
look, there's so many of those Man City podcasts. Like I said, I was going to make a podcast about the podcast, but there's some where they're very over sensationalized and they want clicks. Where it's like you have a fan base, you're like the Wilco of the Man City podcast. Like they have their fans, right? And you're going to keep your opinions and you're going to keep.
I totally get this reference.
And you don't. Oh, do you not?
I do. He doesn't.
Okay, like Radiohead. How about Radiohead or like just something like that where no matter what they do,
kind of indie.
Yeah, no matter what they do, it doesn't matter. Like what I mean? Yeah. It's like you have your core fans. They like what you do, and you don't sensationalize. And you're having fun. You know what I mean? You love the club, and you take your spare time to do this, and you entertain us, and you don't, and it's fun. It's fun. You don't get stressed out about it, and you don't you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
Tranquilo, innit?
Yeah.
No, so I love listening to other people's transfer podcasts. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
And there's some that do have some sort of journalist connections with the club, so they do have some inside information that's valuable. Mm-hmm. But Joey and I, we know nothing.
True.
and probably the biggest takeaway I've had from this season is that transfers and the playing squad is as much about players' attitudes and mentalities as it is what they're actually able to do on a football field.
Right.
And because I don't know any of these guys, I would only be speaking to 50% of their value, which is what they can do on a pitch. And I don't watch a lot of football besides City anyway. So Joey would be a lot better at it than me. But again, he would only be speaking about 50% of the value of any player out there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of worthless. You know what I mean? But credit to those that have journalists on their pods or do have some of the hosts have connections and they do know some things, and those that are able to speculate. But for me, I'd just be chatting shit, so I don't know why I would bother.
Like when we do talk, it's literally just like I've seen someone that I've either seen someone that I think would fit, or I've seen stuff on Twitter of like that gain steam, and I've watched that person, and I'm either like, yeah, I think that makes sense, or no, I don't think it makes sense. Here's why. And that's kind of the extent of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't know anybody. Like, what?
Well, here's a prime example. We thought we were going to get Julian Alvarez, and he was going to go on loan.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that didn't happen. Those guys, the guys that are like punching the numbers and going and looking at the people, they know something we don't. Right? And obviously, like they've worked with Pep. Some of these guys have worked with Pep, so they know that they can pick up a player for 15 million pounds or whatever, and turn them into what they need, right? So I don't know. So I don't get stressed out about what they're doing, and I don't. But I like what you're doing, and so that's all that matters.
Thank you, bro. Really kind. It's really kind, mate.
Big Rich, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right, Richard. We'll let you go, pal. Thanks for the chat, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one, man.
All right, surf's up, bro.
Yeah, enjoy your lobster rolls.
There he goes.
My man said, surf's up, bro. Just truly impeccable content.
All right. Let's keep it moving, man. Let's keep it moving.
Indeed.
I think this guy's a first-time caller.
Yes.
I'm not sure, but let's welcome him. I'm going to go with Amit.
Yeah, it's Amit.
Amit.
I'm from India.
So the Americanized version, they call themselves Amit over here. Like there's some at my office with the same spelling as you, what have you, go with Amit. But you heard me say I thought it might be Amit. So
As far as you are pointing in the right direction, I am fine with it.
nah, thanks for calling, mate. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Same here. It's like I have been a long time listener for you, like of you guys.
Oh,
So
thanks.
just wanted to chat with someone about this Champions League experience. So
Yeah.
I am currently in Delhi in India, right? It's around 1 a.m. here right now.
Brother,
So-
what are you doing?
And tomorrow is Sunday, so it's
True.
right. So, like, I think so. We have our official supporters club here. So
Yeah.
we went to a pub there, and when that Rodri goal went in, I was literally banging walls with my hand. I don't know what I was doing. I was with my brother. We were like crazy going, and for us, like people say that we don't have that connection with that club because we don't belong. Like we are not from Manchester. I just feel it like very weird. Like how can you talk like that when
Mhm.
these emotions are very very strong, right? And when we talk about this Champions League, right, it still hasn't settled in for me. Weirdly, I don't know why. So I have been watching those movies and clips of that moment from all the different angles of the celebrations of the goal, going through what they were feeling, what I was feeling, and slowly it has started settling in.
Yeah.
So as for the topic of this discussion today, right? So what I
Mhm.
feel is like it's sometimes about the destiny, right? Because when you see our
Love it.
last like previous some years of like run of uh, like weird things like Real Madrid last year doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense. It shouldn't happen. Our defense was solid, our attack was solid. We were creating chances, we were doing everything great, and still it happened. And for some weird thing, I actually um, like I rationalize this it using the logic that if we went to final and lost to Liverpool, that would have hurt even more.
That's
Mhm.
true.
I'd rather settle with because
Yeah.
we didn't have anyone in the defense. Like everyone was injured and Laporte was playing through the injury.
A lot of
And
Liverpool fans in India, right?
I haven't met anyone.
That a
Sorry.
boy.
Seriously? No, I don't believe it. I don't
Avoid
believe
at all costs.
it.
Trust
You know
me,
what I
yeah.
mean? If you see one,
I have
in the road.
I have met United fans,
Okay, that
unfortunately,
makes sense.
but
No, I love it. Destiny is, it's a word we haven't mentioned yet, but it's sort of in the same category as vibes and but destiny is
it
something
was
like
just
sort of,
meant to be happen. So till
yeah.
January, we like even the City fans were not saying that we will win any trophy. That there were serious discussions that City might go trophyless this season. And suddenly, I don't know what happened. Those charges dropped, and everything just clicked, and the system clicked, and Johnny Boulders came into midfield, and everything was like flowing, and we
Yeah.
were like winning every match like 4-1, 3-1, 4-0. I was like, where was this Man City before World Cup? We would have wrapped up the league by January
Yeah.
if this city was there. But but sometimes it just happens, and the most important thing for me is like the way Pep, like we talk about players a lot, but the way Pep has like evolved himself, right? If you see his management of players throughout the season, we had a smaller squad, but still he was rotating players in a more meaningful way when everyone was shouting like Diaz is fit. Why is he not playing? Why is he not playing when Diaz is fit? But he had some other plans maybe, and lo and behold, we have every single player available for the final.
Yeah, that
It
was,
doesn't happen by chance. It doesn't happen by chance. That was planned. And what I think is like what I wanted to see was like KDB scoring that goal in the final, but
yeah.
Rodri was just like, oh my god, that goal from Rodri. And
How
like
many people were there with you?
I think around it should be around 400, 300,
Yeah.
400 people
I've
there.
Well,
seen
let's
a
It
lot
was
of
go,
the
packed.
videos. Yeah,
baby
yeah.
boy.
And yeah, and it started here at around 12:30 a.m. in the morning, and it went till 3 a.m. So we didn't sleep that whole night because when I came back home, I was so buzzed. Like I was straight onto social media and spamming the pics everywhere.
Oh yeah. Warrior UCL. Yeah. Me too.
What a UCL, man. What a UCL. And the thing is, when the season starts, right, they have to call it what it is, like Champions of Europe. Like today I saw a tweet where they said like they were praising Onana for his performance against the champions of Europe. And
Yeah.
then that's when it hit me, yeah, man. We are champions of Europe.
Now he's going to ship 6 in the derby next year.
Yeah. Was it the Munich keeper? They were saying, here's the Munich keeper against the champions of Europe. I saw the video.
Onana.
Oh, was Onana?
It was
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
No, sorry, you're right. It was the.
That's the one I saw.
Jan Sommer.
Yeah. Cool.
But how many times has
he scored 3 goals on that?
Lose to City in the Champions League? You know, he left Gladbach from getting murdered. Goes to Munich, gets hit again. Like, who is this guy?
Amit, who would you pick for captain next season?
Yeah, as you said, like I wanted it to be either Rodri or KDB.
Yeah,
those 2 guys.
Brilliant.
Because see, I think these players, they are not like where you have to shepherd for every little bit of thing. We have like core players who have been together for around 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
They know their role, they know their responsibilities, so you don't have to babysit each and every guy. And within the team, I have seen like we have separate groups, like goalkeepers will have separate group, your defenders have separate, your midfielders, and then they have their leaders among them. Like Scott Carson is the goalkeepers one, Ruben Diaz is the defenders one, and
that's
so
2 for Scott.
So that yeah, I like he's the goat, man. He just asks people to come outside. We'll talk outside.
Yes.
I like that kind of talk.
He's got a cult following, I think, for sure.
I just want to add one thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go. Just wanted to add thing regarding the transfers, right? Like, like we as a City fan are like, I don't know why people bother so much about transfers and everything when every year in, year out, this management has proved themselves right in each and every aspect, right? Like I wouldn't be shocked if like Calvin Phillips is the best player next season.
Yes.
and we'll be like he's the GOAT and everything like that. Like I still remember people calling
around where it's like,
people calling João Cancelo, sell João Cancelo in the first season or Rodri in the first season. Like they were calling him Rodri's on top. But like now you can't even imagine like selling Rodri. Like he is like Manchester City through and through.
So you heard it here first. Calvin Phillips, Ballon d'Or winner from Ahmed.
You never know.
Ahmed, yeah.
We'll be there.
Hey, thanks for calling in. It's really nice to meet you,
Thank
mate.
you, man. Yeah, thanks.
And thanks for support, man. That's crazy. How do we have listeners in India?
Hey, apparently loads of City fans.
There are only 6 of us, so you know.
You got here too, so don't worry, we're even.
All right, mates.
Cheers,
Call in
man.
again next time, yeah?
Definitely. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for
Cheers.
having
Take care.
All right, there goes Amit.
Wow.
Ooh, cool.
What a first timer, huh? Amit comes on first time and just spits fire.
There's big support out there, man. Big support. I'm surprised he said he didn't know any Liverpool fans out there because I think there's loads of Liverpool fans in India, but the Manchester United fans, obviously, they're everywhere. They're like rats. Oh dear. All right, so Joey's put the link in the chat again. If anybody wants to jump on with us, you would be straight in. We got nobody in the lobby right now, so it's just the noisy boys at the moment.
Yeah.
So I mean, why not do just a couple minutes on transfers, mate? We got
transfer season.
Matty Kovacic in the house.
Okay, we're going with Matty.
Yeah, well, Gundogan. Thank you, Gundo. I think they've known for a while Gundo was leaving. Like I was saying before about giving the captaincy out, I think they knew he was leaving. That's why he got it.
Over Kevin or
yeah.
Okay.
just because I mean they did that with Fernandinho.
Well, I think they did it with Fernandinho because it was company. So the next step would be Fernandinho. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I'm spitballing, mate. Completely, I'm spitballing. But yeah. So Gundo, thanks, Gundo, man. Thanks for the 12-second banger at Wembley. That I still cannot get over that, man.
Yeah.
He sat that whole half of the stadium down in 12 seconds, mate.
Pretty good bit.
Bucket hats and all, sit down.
Yeah.
Back in the net.
All those people in their home stadium, you know, and just
unbelievable.
So it seems like we've replaced him, at least, you know, nominally,
with a body, with a good versatile body. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think he's way more than a body. I think.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to. What I meant to say was like, I don't think he's exactly like Gundo, but he's a good midfield addition. Is my point.
More like replaced him with a baddie. Am I right, dude?
Oh dear.
All I've ever been was a baddie. So Kovacic. Yeah. So I think Kovacic is going to be just way better than people. Not that he's being underpinned, I guess, but like I think people look at his last year and a half at Chelsea and they're like, happy to have him. He seems to have the skills to do it, blah, blah, blah. But they don't look just before that, where he was at Real Madrid and Inter and was an absolute monster.
Or they don't remember what Pep Guardiola can do to some guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the thing that I'm super excited about. I know he hasn't previously gotten a lot of goals.
Yep.
But I don't know that necessarily Gundogan was a big goal scorer before he came.
He wasn't.
I feel like Kovacic will probably, he might even double his goal output at City. If he gets into some of the same positions that Gundogan was getting into, I can really see it, man. I can really see his output going way up. I love this signing, man. He's just another experienced, technical, versatile midfielder that could play, 6, 8, further forward, if necessary. And yeah, I thought last season we sort of got away with it a little bit in terms of midfield and injuries. And obviously we ran Rodri into the ground.
Yes.
And unfortunately Phillips wasn't ready. Whether it be injury, whether it be, mentally, weight issues, whatever it was. Fingers crossed for Calvin and that Ballon d'Or run this season. But yeah, I still think we're probably one light in the midfield, unless we think that Palmer and McAtee are going to come back and stay. But yeah,
you said Palmer.
Yeah,
I told you before the show I wanted to talk about two people.
Yeah,
and it's Palmer and Sergio Gomez.
Okay.
All right, so Cole Palmer, I think, has shown, at least for England, that if you play him where he's meant to be played, he can be a real problem. You know?
Totally.
And you give him a little bit of freedom. Now, I was full on the train of he's getting loaned out.
Yeah.
He didn't show, which I think everyone would agree. He didn't show enough this season, right? But that Euro display at least should make you pause if you were big on he's out the door. Since the season's ended, dust has settled. There's a lot of stuff around guys that we play on the right wing could be going. Some of those rumors getting hotter than others. Where are we at on Cole now?
The things that give me pause are the size of the squad, the number of games we're going to have to play.
Yep.
If nothing changes right now, if everybody who's here stays, I'm talking about Bernardo and Mahrez, I still think there's games for McAtee and Palmer this season coming up. And two kids who already know the system, have immense talent, obviously, or else they wouldn't have even been getting a sniff of the first team when they were here.
Yeah.
I think you keep them around as long as they want to, as long as they feel like they're going to get minutes and they'll be happy to.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't know. Can you get away with 2 seasons in a row where practically nobody gets injured? I don't know.
No.
You run a super small squad like that. I think you've got to have those guys.
And we have more matches. So
Yeah,
do you have McAtee?
I hope he stays, mate. I hope he comes back and is
so
part of it.
Not that. I think he is staying.
Okay.
This isn't a shot. I'm guessing you haven't watched a ton of them. In your brain, where is he playing?
McAtee.
Yeah.
Any forward position outside of striker.
Okay, so you've got him in those two.
I think he's versatile enough to play. I think he's a bit of a Bernardo Silva.
Okay, I agree with you. So
Okay.
having watched him,
yeah,
I think he would fit in perfectly as either one of those high eights or on the right wing.
Same.
So if we're talking about,
because he's left-footed, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's left-footed.
Yeah, but like I think he's probably decent enough on either. He's a bit like Mahrez, where is he left-footed? Type situation. Okay, so yeah, so we've got that. That's your free Bernardo replacement. If Bernardo and Mahrez both go, we know we have to buy somebody. I have no idea who that would be. No one does. Whatever. But I think I am coming back towards Cole could stay.
Yeah, same. I hope he does.
I don't usually swing like that, but because normally it's like if I've got my mindset on somebody and I've got them pretty sussed out in terms of like whether or not they're going to cut it, I usually stand pat, but I don't know. It just feels like something was off, and maybe he would be all right. The other one, just real quick, I know we've got some folks in line. The other one, just because he had a phenomenal tournament, Sergio Gomez.
Yes.
I said on our show, he should be moved up the pitch. I've said on Twitter, he should be Jack's backup.
So that, yeah.
So here's the deal.
And Threads.
True, which okay, tangent. Threads is kind of whack, right? Like it's not chronological.
Yeah.
I see a bunch of people like creators and shit that I don't follow to begin with and I have no interest in.
Yeah, it's not.
The engagement's weird.
Yeah.
And are we really picking which billionaire is better?
No, absolutely not.
Like the one that like it was like, yeah, free speech, send people to space, whatever. And then the other guy that's like constantly having to testify before Congress because he's selling all of our information. Yeah. Threads isn't available in Europe because it's because of what they do.
Absolutely a lesser of two evils situation.
Okay.
Too much of life is becoming that, isn't it?
True. Anyway, back to Sergio. Yeah. So I think that's a fun tangent. Sergio. So we bought Sergio as a left back, right?
Yeah.
And I think people got in their brains, and maybe this is me reading too much of social media, which is entirely possible, that's the position he plays. Well, no, because if you watch for Spain, he plays at left wing. When he came through at Barcelona, he was a winger. He was a midfielder. He did the Zinchenko track quicker. But I think you take that guy, because everyone's always not good enough at defending. Well, of course he's not. He was brought up as a forward. He tackles like a guy that's a forward. So I think if you bring Sergio up into either an 8 or on the left wing, I think you've got something there, man. He doesn't have to play every game. He can come on and give Jack a break. Delivery is outstanding.
Yeah.
He's got Pausa.
Pausa.
He's got Porzer. I think the vision's coming in terms of the passes that he sees. His positioning's decent. I think if you position him higher up the pitch, I don't know, dude. I think he's another one that people have written off and said that he's going to just insert Club Girona
or
something. People have kind of written him off, and I just don't know that that's the case.
There's another angle to this, mate, which I think
I don't know why we'd go buy a guy from Anderlecht.
No, you're right. You're right, and I'm getting to that. A new angle is that the pressure to win the Champions League. I mean, we even got a bonus treble out of this whole thing. The press that we've got 4 out of 5 Premier Leagues. I know winning 4 Premier Leagues in a row has never been done before, and that's great if we could do that. But ultimately, I mean, I feel like Pep can really the pressure's off a bit, and Pep can. If he can't play kids now, I don't know when he'd ever be able to. Do you know what I mean? So when and maybe that's why the movement in the market isn't that it's pretty slow. In that is what's out there and how long it would take for them to bed in and whatever really that much better? Is it multi-million pounds better than what you've already got in house or that was on loan or that could come back in? Than your Palmers, your McAtees, Calvin Phillips, even Sergio Gomez. That's what they're having to weigh up. You know what I mean? Like this is what I could use. Right? These guys, I've got them. They're contracted to City. They've come up through the academy, or I just paid £40 million for them, or or do I go buy some other guy that I might know a little bit about, but it's a gamble.
And he might take a year to bet in.
It's a gamble, yeah. Do you gamble, or do you say I've got some guys who are really good.
Yeah,
I'll just work with them. The pressure's off. There's a bit of leeway now because one guy in the chat, Beyond Belief, had a great question, which was, how is Palmer supposed to impress when he starts and hugely change teams as a sub, etc., which I agree with. But what I'm suggesting is with the pressure off, Cole Palmer can start some games. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can absolutely start some games.
Yep.
So that's where I'm at with it, mate. I think that's another angle that we don't talk about enough. You ready for another guest?
Yeah, let's go to the True North, strong and free, to Toronto. Let's go to Nebs. What's up? Look at the background on the kid.
Look at this guy.
He's got the Grealish hair. He's got Kevin and Bernardo and early Cheeky Ruben back there. Hold on. Look. We need.
Want him big.
Yeah.
There he is. There he is.
What's up, brothers?
Can we shift him sideways even? No.
Wagwan General.
Just kidding.
Wagwan General.
How you feeling, mate?
From the Great White North.
Look
How
at
am I
this
feeling?
shit.
Exhausted, brother.
Why?
Basking in glory. Still haven't recovered, man.
Tired from all the winning.
Listen. Istanbul takes a lot out of a man. So does the European final. You put the two together and you come home a bit shattered. What can I say?
Oh, I love it for you, mate. I love it.
Yeah. Definitely a beautiful moment. And since then, just been floating on a cloud. Can't really say much. Bittersweet. Didn't get to celebrate it with all of my brothers and sisters in the city, in the city family as they were at home. But again, if there's only ever going to be one place that I would be other than Upper Bob's, and that's where I was. So exhausted from all the winning and exhausted that we're going to dive right back into all the emotions and the caring. And then about a month, it never ends. It's like the NBA.
How
are you guys?
Look at all this.
There we go.
Hey, there we go. We're great.
On the bottom where I belong.
I tried to do the other one where he's like real big.
It's all good.
How you guys what do you think of this topic, bro? What do you think was
transfers?
The big? Yeah, no. Just we can do transfers in a bit, but back to the original topic. Like, what was different for you? What put us over the top this season?
I think a lot of it boils down to two things, like mentality, and I think we had a style that we were comfortable enough in that we continued to roll out down the stretch. Like, it was effective. We caught fire at the right time, and Pep trusted this particular system enough that he kept rolling it out, and he didn't tinker with something that wasn't broken. And if there's one criticism that any man can have of Pep, who's proven himself to be an absolute genius, arguably the greatest manager in the history of the game, period, it's sometimes he overthinks things. I don't know that there is for me, but I respect that there are football fans outside of our city brotherhood, sisterhood, etc., that maybe think otherwise. But in my mind, I think it's pretty settled, and I have a corner to fight for if ever we were to have that discussion. But he didn't overthink it this time. And I think it's tough to overthink it when every game the guys come out and they play consistently and they play in a dominant fashion. And I can't think of one game where we were outplayed down the stretch. And even the two that we didn't necessarily play at our best, 2 6 out of 10 performances in the FA Cup final. And I don't think we were necessarily that good in the Champions League final either. But I think that leads me back to the first point. The mentality, a little bit of shithousery in our game that maybe we didn't have previous, where I think, I don't want to call it a victim complex, because I don't believe that we ever really had a victim complex. We were a little more prone to being pushed around. And when things didn't go our way, you could see the heads drop a little bit. And I think this time around, they weren't going to allow themselves to be pushed around in any instance. They were the ones taking the piss for the most part. And I think when you approach the game in a bully fashion, it's really, really tough to turn that momentum. And no one really seemed to do it against us, even when we didn't play at our best.
Yeah. Yep.
Granted, having said that, like in the final, things could have went either way.
Like
we had a couple bounces that went our way, and I think luck factors into that as well. If I had to pick a third one, we got bounces this season down the stretch that we didn't necessarily get in seasons previous in Champions League in particular. Some of it's the whistle.
It's not just one thing, is it? It's so many things, and I mean you can rank them. And I still think if I was going to rank them, I would put defensive solidity, at the top, like and no mistakes. But
Absolutely.
yeah, it's vibes, it's destiny, it's mentality, it's
when you said a lot of things, like the list could be a lot more than just 3, but as you said, that defensive stability that you're talking about, I think once Ruben Diaz kind of bedded himself back into the lineup, it changed the way we played. And his aggressiveness, even when our defense and our shape kind of fell apart, he wasn't afraid to get stuck in, where I think in years past, a lot of those tackles maybe are a little less precise than they were this season when, Ruben was taking off and sliding in to save the day. 5 times out of 10, those don't go your way. And, it's a game of inches. And if you miss that tackle, all of a sudden we have a red and the game goes in a different direction. And we're not sitting here talking about a treble anymore. It's
all right. Yeah, I agree, mate. And as much as we talk about, the in the box defending, obviously Ruben's been great at that. Ruben also, I think, leveled up his build up. I really think that because we basically took our best build-up guys out of the back, as well as the fullbacks, got rid of them, right? You moved John Stones out. He's a ball-playing defender. And you really left with Ruben Diaz in the middle of that 3. And if I had to rank the ball-playing defenders at City, he'd probably be the last one before this season, right? So you've asked him now, you're in the middle, you're the start of our build-up, and it's not really the thing that he's most known for. So I think he really leveled his game up, as well as Ake and Akanji next to them. Now, Akanji maybe already had that attribute, but I don't think Ake is particularly known for that. Ake is more of a defense-first guy. I think
Ake's always been pretty comfortable on the ball. He maybe doesn't have the reputation as a ball-playing center back, but I've never been stressed about him coming out of the back. I think maybe when he got to City, it probably took him a year to really become adept to the speed that which we play out of the back and some of the intricacies, for lack of a better explanation, like that. There's a bit of a bedding in period that's required, and I think you've seen that with Jack as well, and a few of our guys who maybe didn't hit the ground running in their first season. But as you said, whereas Akanji maybe always had it in his locker, I think Ake showed that he did have it in his locker this year as well. And the Stones revelation to move him into midfield and see him do some of the things he did this year. Like I remember a time 2-3 seasons ago when most of us were talking comfortably about maybe selling John Stones or moving him along to a different club. And to, Pep, we talk about him overthinking and sometimes playing guys in positions that they're not necessarily comfortable with or reinventing players. And there's pros and cons to these kinds of things. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But for him to find what he found in John Stones and for him to step up into that role and for them to play as well as they did for that stretch of time, like I don't think there was enough time for other teams to figure out what it was we were doing. And I think that worked to our benefit.
Sorry, mate. Did you see this comment?
Which one? That's the moose flex, buddy.
Proper Canadian moose going on here.
Oh, hold on.
That's amazing.
What is
Shout out,
this?
It's a proper Canadian moose.
Proper Canadian
I
moose.
saw you were up in
I
Ireland.
did.
So you didn't even give us a shout, buddy.
This is Monty.
Monty,
Joey's one of
like
the
it.
main Canada guys.
He hangs out with Harry.
That's class.
It's his debut.
Harry the fish. The fighting fish.
Harry the haddock. Okay, first of all,
And what is a haddock?
it's a type of fish, but I think it's important
Sorry,
to
I typecasted him. My bad.
respect that Harry the haddock has made his way from non-league back into League Two and has survived. You know,
Listen,
with
I
no
have the utmost
Hollywood
respect.
money,
Suck it out.
with no
And if he
Hollywood
identifies
money,
as a haddock, that's what we'll call him. Or
the
her.
he didn't need the guy from Always Sunny or Expedia or TikTok or what's the guy from Mint Mobile? The other one,
You
Suicide.
taking shots
Guy?
at Wrexham? That's
I
a good old Canadian guy. You know, I think you should let him be.
No, I don't think so. I think white Hollywood money is worse than oil money. Honestly, you know, I think it's evil stuff. Owners spending their own cash is bad.
That's what we've been taught, anyways, throughout the media. Also, I think it should be mentioned. We didn't just win the treble this year, boys. We won the quad. We won the ever prestigious net spend trophy as well, which no one seems to mention this year. I'm not sure why.
Well, did you
Yeah.
order one?
Did we get a badge
The
for
net
that?
spend
By chance?
trophy?
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder.
No Liverpool fans will sell one to me.
Might be on pace to win it again this year. Shout out to the keeper today for the U21s, Mr. Trafford.
Mhm.
Unfortunate name, but hey.
£200 million release clause.
So that 19 million valuation has gone
What
up.
great fucking karma that is, by the way.
It's pretty good bit.
That
Hilarious
is
thing.
brilliant. Who's
have
this
a
guy? What sort of dodgy business is this?
Guys, we have a U21 goalkeeper that's worth more than a stadium of the same name.
And he's 6'6". He's proper massive. I was looking today, and
I mean, same.
He reminds me of Costello a bit.
I've got these are
Can't tell
15
him on.
ceilings. I'm also 6'6".
All right, let's wrap this up with Nebs. Nebs, who's your captain next season?
Great question. I think they'll probably decide it as they usually do. It'll come down to seniority and guys that
Who's
have been in the room
leaving,
the
yeah.
longest. So I guess
Who
it'll
they
be
want
Kev.
Who they want to be pictured with the trophy?
My guess it'll be Kev. And we get to see what his form is lifting the trophy hopefully next season.
God.
I was curious about Gundo. I was like, what would it look like if he was to lift the trophy? And he showed us 3 times that his form's impeccable.
That's right.
So we'll give someone else a shot next season.
Yeah, strong elbows, strong wrists, you know, rotator cuffs intact.
Didn't drop it off the bus, importantly.
Oh,
Didn't drop
yeah.
Jack off the bus either, importantly.
Well, even if he did, Jack had a high vis vest on, so you would have caught him. You know what I mean? You'd
Maybe.
see.
Arguably. Just not in front of the bus. He falls backwards.
True.
It's not so bad.
Right,
Has
Neb.
the bus ever been parked in that part of Manchester? I don't believe that it has.
They would have to for that. Boys.
I think Jack would just lay under it.
What we got? We got a flag here. Fellas.
Blends into the background.
We got
Oh no, you've gotten too technological and it's gone
it's gone terribly wrong.
It's gone weather
terribly wrong.
All right. My guys, good to see.
Oh,
It's gone really wrong. It's gone very, very wrong for Nebs.
What the?
Unlucky Nebs. Dear, oh dear.
Deary me. Oh no, he's a nice guy too.
He is. From the land of the fighting Michael Bublé's Nebs.
Okay. That seems like a reduction.
All right, let's move on, mate. We've been going for about an hour and a half, which is pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
All right, let's bring on Kevin. There he is.
Wow.
We did it, Kev. We did it, Kev.
Twitch guy, Kevin Boyle.
We have it, Kev.
Master Twitch mod extraordinaire.
You make sure that no man deep self in the Twitch mod in the Twitch chat.
I mean, Mandeep would add a little flavor to the
True.
broadcast itself.
We need a Mandeep react, huh?
Thank you, Colton.
Colton gets it. Colton
Ellie,
saved
hello.
the stream recently. Yeah, Colton and Ellie saved one.
Ellie5 seems to know who you are, Kevin, so that's pretty cool.
I'm a big deal on the internet.
Yeah.
He's one of the main
In a
guys.
very like specific part of the internet, but and I was the one that yanked Nebs out.
Yeah, you kicked him out. Brilliant. How's your summer going, mate?
Not too bad. It's fun with a little kid. You got to keep them entertained, or they yell at you. So that's been an added bonus, I guess.
New father.
Why don't you have any sort of city memorabilia behind you? What's going on?
I was thinking about that.
Are you not the boss in
yesterday?
Your house?
I have my own standing desk. I could probably do it.
That's
right
what
now.
you've been allowed to have.
Yes. So I've been allocated this specific. Yeah. No, I was actually thinking about the other day. I was like, I feel like I need to switch my laptop over to this side, and then my monitor over on this side, because then I don't have this stupid thing in the background.
The Neb's wife won't let him have anything either. That's why he put that backdrop.
Yeah.
I need Kev's ears coming out of my, her arms coming out of my head.
Brilliant. All right, mate. On topic, what put City over the hill, over the top, over the hump in the Champions League versus prior seasons? Nobody's mentioned my spreadsheet, by the way.
I called you an XL boys.
I would expect, as you come on the channel, to say Mauve. Well done on the spreadsheet.
I mean, it was in the back of my head. It was. I was going to mention it, but I'm glad you said it.
What a waste of time that was.
I think it was because of the spreadsheet that it was so good.
We need to add to the Twitter bio of like amateur analytics, professional spreadsheets.
Go on, take it away. Take it away, Kev.
So I think a lot of it, part of it has to do with the fact that we were there. We'd done it before, or we've been there before, and now it's getting over that hump. And we had people who had been around for the first one and leading up to that. But I talked to no one on Twitter, just myself, that there just seemed something different. Yeah, number one, it just seemed something different at the beginning of the season. Within like our 17 comebacks, it just felt like we were, we had something a little extra. Obviously, it fell off towards the middle of the season after the World Cup, but once things started picking back up, it almost just seemed like we were there again. And I think that mentality and the never give up, never say die kind of mentality was what kind of pushed us over the edge. In some games, obviously the home, the home form was ridiculous. Bare naked ladies. What a shout. Okay. Losing my train of thought, but like I said, I think there was a mentality difference this year, that kind of took us that next step that allowed us to get the treble. That and Ederson doing his best Stefan Ortega impression throughout all the finals. So,
mate, you had some great shouts in there. Ederson is one, right? Yep. Ederson shut a lot of people up because it was really his Champions League performances where he wasn't awful, but didn't have the same sort of saves that like a Courtois was making, and he was winning Champions Leagues. So Ederson's a big shout that nobody's mentioned before. The mentality is a huge thing. Fortress Etihad is another thing that we probably haven't talked about enough. Yeah. We have been amazing there. I guess Joey mentioned earlier Pep's strategy to, when we would go away in Europe, it was just, in a two-legged affair, whatever. Just keep it tight. Don't lose. Keep it tight, and bring them back to the Etihad, and we'll smash them. And just look at performances against Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, where on the home leg, Etihad, it was boys against men against boys. Sorry, we were amazing in those games. Some of the best City performances I've ever seen in my life, especially that Real Madrid. Incredible. So yeah, I mean, we've got a whole list here of things from all the callers. That again, it's not one thing, is it? It all just added up to a treble. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I think like you said, it was just almost there was almost an automatic feeling towards playing at home. Like if you could keep it close in the away legs, which they did. I like even at 1-0. I mean, it was Real Madrid, so it's very different. Like they have this aura about them, which is the most obnoxious word ever at this point. But you just felt like if we get them home close enough that we were just going to run them off the table, and that's what we did. And the same thing happened with Bayern. We played them at home first, so it made it a little bit easier to go the away leg. But just having that, like I said, automatic feeling. As soon as we were at home, they played off the crowd. They were going to do, they're just going to play at their best all the time.
I can say, like somebody mentioned in the chat earlier that like the fans don't get brought up enough in what the stadium has become this year. And I mean, let's all be very frank about this. For the first few years that Pep was here, it did just kind of mellow out. At home, it was quiet. People were just trying to soak in, I think, what they were watching and try to figure out what was going on and all that kind of stuff. Something this year, a switch was flipped where they were. I mean, how many times this season did the family stand Poznan people out the door? Like, we haven't seen that since Mancini, where the whole stadium is doing the Poznan, the whole stadium singing.
I mean, that's like almost one of those opportunities. If you're the other team, you should just be walking off the pitch at that point.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, that's it. We're not coming back from this.
Clearly, we're done. This is over with. I guess we'll see you next time. I don't know. I think we did it.
Just do like the Simpsons grandpa, put the hat, open the door, put the hat in.
Yeah.
Turn around, come back out.
I mean, it's basically the same.
These are the best teams. The champions.
I wonder who you're texting.
They are the best teams. They are the best teams. The main event.
Oh, were you in the living room on YouTube, Cameron?
He was asking for Mandeep.
He was. I know.
Damn, where's Mandeep?
They are the best. They are the best.
Wow. Check out the Noisy Pod Twitter and Instagram tomorrow for Noisy Boys.
Where's the piano?
The champions.
Not now, it's Howard.
These are the champions. The champions.
So, Mo, do you consider Howard the like the Michael Bublé of England?
He's got Vegas residency coming up.
Yeah, I mean,
send him this clip, by the
way. You think Bublé has leaf blowers that annoy him too?
He's got to.
No doubt.
Oh no, that's brilliant.
Man texts his son to bring a trophy. This is absolute nonsense. Also,
we did it, Kev. We did it. We have it.
FCD
legend.
Bubba Bandit.
That's right. Great stuff. Oh, what else?
Where you at on transfers, dude?
Oh yeah, come on. He's young. He loves the transfer. Look at him. He loves it.
Exhausting.
Wow.
Like Fabrizio Romano writes the same things like every third day, just like updates.
So Fabrizio Romano, Asan, I think, tweeted it recently, I don't know, a few weeks, that Romano's moving into, oh my gosh, what was the Italian guy that used to break a bunch of transfer rumors? I can't remember, but he's moving into that territory where it's a lot of it seems like agents have gotten to him a little more than other
Asians.
Agents?
Oh, okay. The Asians have gotten to him.
Hey. Knock it off. Agents have gotten to him more than maybe used to. and it seems like he gets caught up in some stuff a little bit more than he used to. And yeah, it really does turn into just him kind of
as we said 2 weeks ago. You're like,
yeah. The situation has not changed. Then why are you tweeting?
I think a lot of the times too, like the people on social media want to know these things all the time, and are probably bothering the hell out of them. And it's just like he probably just says it to get them off his back, a little bit. But it's just like I think Gvardiol is probably close, if not like going to happen.
Yeah, once they get their replacement, and that seems done.
Yeah, Kovacic I think is a great signing in terms of like versatility. Perfect Pep player in terms of being able to play him in multiple positions. I think it depends on how much he plays, depends on who goes and who comes in. But they weren't really looking at anyone midfield wise.
Right.
What do you think about what we were saying before about the kids? I say the kids, they're getting older now. Like your Cole Palmers, McAtees, whatever. Do you think would you keep them around?
I feel like I would keep McAtee. I just feel like he fills a role that we need, or that we need somebody who can also play that role.
Yeah.
Because like the way you guys were talking about before, it's just like there's so many games coming this year. We're in 6 competitions, right? The Club World Cup gets in there.
Yep.
The other, the 3 domestic cups, Champions League, and there's one more, right?
Well, the UEFA Super Cup.
Oh, right, yeah.
One game.
Right, yeah, against Sevilla.
We're playing West Ham, I think, or we're playing Sevilla.
Are we playing Sevilla?
Sevilla. Sorry.
Sevilla.
And it's not the Europa League final.
It's just like 2-3 weeks. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hold on. We've got someone very, very bored in the chat.
I don't know who that is.
Me either, but how sad are you?
Mandeep Spurner.
How sad are you into a city chat, brother? Go outside.
Touch grass.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I would think McAtee.
Nice.
Maybe Palmer stays around, but
yeah,
I think, to your point earlier, is that and I think Steam Company talks about this all the time. It's that if you play him in the position that he's good at, like you're going to see a whole different player. The problem is that Mahrez was the only one there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. What do you think? So I thought about this when.
That's two lookalikes for Kevin.
Who's dragging?
Dragging these nuts across.
Oh, okay. That's incredibly inappropriate. What the? Man's got his own. Hold on. Who curated this profile picture? Was this you?
I can't see any of these
spreadsheets and Photoshop, lads.
So Kevin, we're talking about like transfers and all that kind of stuff, but something that came up in passing earlier, just in terms of like, we've done the treble now, we've won everything that people said we couldn't win. Where do you go from here?
Exhaustion. I don't know.
Okay.
He's thrown in the towel. He's done. He's moving on.
Was exhausting.
Yeah.
I think you professionally, you do your job, right? Like,
yep.
Man, just having to like think about doing this all again. It's just
any fears that we have no, I don't have this. Just to preface, any fears that we have kind of the like the Liverpool fall off, or even Chelsea. We're not as poorly managed as either one.
No. I don't think. I don't think Pep allows that, right? I think if a player's not playing well, he doesn't trust them, so they're not gonna play.
Yep.
And I think maybe at the beginning of the season there might be a little bit of like just rust, tiredness, shaking off the like celebrations from last year. But as the season goes on, I think the winter months, like where we come alive, is kind of what's good, like where things will start to click. It just depends on how low that dip is.
Yep.
And how long it lasts for.
Yeah.
Hey,
go on, Mulv.
you know what? I always get this feeling because I hear it on other podcasts too. City fans talking about, oh, I'd never want to do that again. It's exhausting, right? All this stuff over the past few years, and it is. But can you imagine being like a fan of another team and hearing City fans complain about that?
Yeah.
Seriously, like
it'd be so.
they're going,
cool,
yeah, it must be so fucking exhausting winning the treble.
Sorry for being so successful.
Yeah. Oh, you poor things,
How do you even deal with all that?
Please take pity on us.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, cracks me up.
And I would get it. I would feel the same way if somebody else, if the other was United fan. I mean, any fan base really, Real Madrid, if they were complaining about their team being in second place. And, you have 18 of these things sitting at home.
Yeah. So Kevin, just real quick, Kevin, to you and the chat. So there have been accusations in the past of purchasing a league. Yeah. So should this year, purchasing trophies, should City fall off this year? Say it's a rebuild year, right? There's a lot of rumors of ingoings, outgoings, all that kind of stuff. Arsenal, I think right now are sitting at 170 million in outgoings or in incomings. If they held it together and won the league, did they buy the league, or did their owner invest in the club and make it better?
Well, it's Arsenal and it's Stan Kroenke, and he is a certain color.
He sucks.
So it's clearly that they just invested well in their team.
Right.
But no,
okay. Cool.
That is essentially exactly what we do. And we're not also going Jude Bellingham's a great example. We're going to be okay, well, we're at this point. Or not even Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice too. Yep. You're at a certain point, and that doesn't meet our valuation. Same thing happened with Virgil van Dijk. Nope, we'll walk away, take somebody else.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we jacked that deal up and got out.
Also, Harry Maguire, Alexis Sanchez, Falcao, Ronaldo, Pogba.
I think we added 30 million to Arsenal's price for Rice. Just gambling on the sideline.
We were just trying to get David Moyes more money.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, yo, respect, little bro.
I don't think it's that ridiculous conspiracy theory that one journalist, former football player, came up with, where Arteta called Pep.
I saw that.
Get him to bid. I think that's ridiculous, obviously, but I
Was
do.
that on TalkSport?
What's that?
Was that on TalkSport?
Yeah, I think she's a former England international. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Now she's part of the media, and she had this wild theory that Arteta called Pep to bid to convince Arsenal to buy him, which makes no sense whatsoever. No. And then she claimed victory when Rice signed for them, as if it could only be that scenario. It couldn't be any other scenario that made it happen. Anyways, wasn't she a director of recruitment at LA, not the LA women's team? Possibly.
Yeah.
All I know is I think she's a former player for England. Anyways, that was ridiculous. But yeah, I really do think we toyed around that because we've got a bit of clout, We do. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can, you tell any player in the world City's interested in you, they're going to go, all right, I would like to listen to what you have to say, And as soon as you turn a player's head like that, the other clubs have to start raising their
You've seen his room where he plays billiards. He's got City kits all over.
This is
of course he's going to entertain us.
Interesting question. And hey, thanks for being here.
Welcome.
Do we think Rice is overrated or no? 100 million.
See,
that's a lot of money. I mean, okay, if I were going to be I haven't watched a lot of Declan Rice.
Yep.
So I can't but the same thing could be said for Jack too, I guess. But would his forwards, he's scoring more goals or contributing a little bit more. But like, I don't know if he's worth that much. That seems like a lot of money, and I think the English tax has a lot to do with that. But no, I don't think he's like.
He's one of those players for me that I think Pep could have made a world-class player out of him. I'm not sure that Arteta can. I'm not sure the players around him at Arsenal will elevate him to like a Rodri level. But this is what other teams need. They need a Rodri. They're Rodri. That's why I never thought that Declan Rice was an option for City, because from his perspective, he wouldn't want to have to battle with Rodri for time.
Or Stones.
Yeah, and he made a lot more sense for a Liverpool or an Arsenal. I just don't think he reached the levels at Arsenal that he would have had he joined City. Because I do think Pep would have found a way to play him, to get him the minutes and turn him into something really special. We shall see, but I don't know. Jury's out for me.
Also, side note, have you seen that photo, this new photo of Arteta signing that Howard put out yesterday?
Yes. What's going on with Arteta,
what is his
man?
face?
What was this?
It looks like CGI, man.
It does not look like. It looks like they just like photoshopped his face in and like blushed it up to like be blemishless. And his teeth are just
he's filtered
like Turkish white. Yeah, like
weird.
Turkish white should be a color Sherwood.
He looks like a Fortnite character.
What would you like your couch to be? I like the Turkish white.
What color are these cabinets? Turkish white.
Oh God.
Oh no, Kevin's canceled.
That's why I don't go on these things.
Oh, mate. Cool. All right. Good chats. We'll let you go, mate.
Thanks
so much for calling in, Kevin. We did it, Kev.
We love you guys. I did
Go feed that baby.
He's asleep, so we're good.
Get some stuff on your walls, mate.
Yeah. Buy a poster.
Soon enough. Posters.
See you, pal. There
Later,
he goes.
pal.
Kev. AKA Ed Robertson, AKA the lad from How to Train Your Dragon.
AKA Twitch mod.
Oh, let's go. Whatever that is.
Yep, that's the bastard stepson stupid show.
I need to figure out how to, because we can send this to Twitch. I just don't know the login information to help me out. Cool. All right. Well, we got a couple of United fans in the chat, so that's pretty cool.
Thanks for coming.
We got one that seems to be talking some sense and one that is speaking in code. But welcome to you both. Okay, so Samir, let's wrap up with this, mate. Let's look at Phil Foden.
Yeah.
So Foden, Kevin De Bruyne gets injured in the Champions League final, and there's a myriad of options that Guardiola has, right? You could move Bernardo into the middle and bring on a right winger.
Yep.
But no. Phil Foden comes in and essentially like for like swap with Kevin De Bruyne, and I remember saying at the time I was really excited by it because Kev wasn't having the best game. It needed a bit of an injection of chaos, and
hadn't been able to run for 3 weeks.
Yeah, who better for chaos than Phil Foden, man?
Yeah,
live wire, and he was brilliant. He was part of the build up to the Rodri goal. Obviously, we were all screaming at him to stop dribbling away from their goal, and he lays it off, I think, for a Kanji.
Yeah,
and you know the rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like Phil Foden might get more time in the middle, mate, and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, it's been a rumor for a while, you know, that he was going to get moved into the middle. He saw himself as an 8. Pep saw himself as an 8. And you know what? If we're going to go with this kind of boxed midfield, where it's 2 6s, 2 8s, let's be honest, the 8s act as inside forwards or kind of dual. True, Foden did low-key cook at the 10.
What's going on with this kid, man?
That's no cap. That's on God.
Zoomers are here, man.
They really are.
Zoomer takeover.
They've showed up. Yeah, I think that I don't know when back. I don't know when Kevin's back. So if Kevin's back beginning of the season, I think your 8s are Kevin and Phil. If he's not back, it's Kovacic and Phil. But I think this season is just Phil in that advanced midfield position. I don't see a reason, unless we cannot get, if Mahrez goes, Bernardo goes, and we cannot get a right winger in, which it seems unfathomable to me. Phil's got to be in the 8. You know, he gives you everything you need in there. He's busy. He's creative. He's got good vision. I think he causes more problems going forward than Kevin does, just in terms of chaotic positioning. You don't know where he's going to pop up. He's not as, not to say Kevin's predictable, but you know, if you put a picture of a pitch up, I could highlight kind of a rectangle where Kevin's going to be at.
Yeah.
And I guarantee it would match up with a heat map. Whereas Phil just kind of goes. And I think if the left side of the attack is Phil and Jack Grealish, that's a wild, exciting, perhaps thickening inducing left side where it's just, I don't know what you do to defend that left side, and most of our buildup goes down that side of the pitch anyways. And with Gundogan, it was unreal, but Gundogan kind of similar to Kevin. I know where he's going to be. No telling where Phil's going to be.
See, this is the thing for me, mate. It's it's missing Gundogan that is going to bring a lot more Phil Foden in the middle and a lot more Julian Alvarez. Because the thing that we're going to probably miss most about Gundogan, again, this from a very basic level, is goals.
Yep. Right.
He was scoring mad goals, big goals, and Kovacic to this point isn't a goal scoring threat. Like we said earlier, he may improve on that fact. He probably will, but guys who can score goals, absolutely, Phil Foden, Julian Alvarez. So they will either, for me, be partnered with Kevin or play along, or replace Kevin while he's injured, and even when he needs a rest. I think you're going to see a lot more of Julian Alvarez and a lot more of Phil Foden in that advanced 8-10-ish thing to cover the goals that just left with Gundogan.
You have Alvarez off of Haaland, huh?
When that thing that he does when he rests Kevin, and usually Alvarez just comes in, plays it differently. Obviously, he's not Kevin De Bruyne, but
will you talk to your son?
Yeah, what's he doing? He's supposed to be working out or something.
He is
ready. Man's got a season coming up. You get my drift. Let's bring in Colton. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
The famous Casaba melon, dude.
What's up, mate? How we doing?
What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, lads? I was glad I made it home in time to hop on.
You did it.
You'll be our last one, mate.
Hey, I was gonna say, you never know when the last show is. It's the best podcast in the world. They're always trying to come for your heads.
Well, it's extremely hot take.
Well, there's a lot of gravy and sauce talk in the chat, so there's hot takes everywhere.
True.
But no, I don't remember what the topic was supposed to be. Something about why we won. I mean, other than being the best team in the world, but I mean, for me,
analysis.
It's always vibes. I mean, remember years ago when we first started seeing it's seriously though it is. I mean, it's the reason Arsenal did what they did in the beginning of the season. They had vibes. Everybody watched it. Like the players, the celebrations, the locker room was good. So it was cool to see that kind of come in and out of our season and have moments where we didn't know where we were at, but you know, with the Cancelo stuff kind of wrapping up, you know, it was crazy to see how our mentality just became everything. It really is just seeing the guys together, seeing them happy. You know, it's different, you know, on the red side of town when those guys are just like, you know, score a goal, walk off maybe.
How much do you think the banishment of Cancelo had to do with the vibes, mate?
I mean, I think he was made just an example. I think it was like a statement to whoever else. I mean, people they wondered if it was Laporte or the Happy Flowers guys or who it was. It really didn't matter who it was. He said, I'm going to make an example of him. He's one of them. They put what was the buyout? 70 million. That was Bayern hasn't spent that much money on a player. I don't know if they ever have. So I was like, that's not even, it was like laughable. It was like a statement. It was never going to be a purchase. It was just, we want him out. And I think it was a message. I think it worked. I mean, his speech after the Tottenham game, everything. It was all mentality. I mean, we have the best players in the world at every position, in my opinion, but I'm a little biased. But I think that's what got us over the line.
Yep. Vibes, man. Typical noisy pod conclusion.
We need to find a way to quantify vibes. We need to quantify vibes. We need to be able to stat track them the same way they do XV.
I'm working on it with Opta. I'm trying to get Opta Molve.
We need that account branched off.
Yeah,
doing vibes checks on every team.
Actually, that'd be a funny it would be a funny thing. Just have Opta Molve has whatever team is currently on TV. XV is currently this versus XV is currently this.
XV power rankings. You know how you see power rankings and you go you just put power there so you can rank teams differently. But I get it. But for us, it's like power rankings for vibes.
So what's your vibes for a captain next season, mate?
That's a tough question. Everybody, I mean, it's easy to say Ruben, it's easy to say Kev, and I don't really see a lot outside of those two. For whatever reason, Kev either maybe doesn't want it or whatever. I mean, I don't think we need it to be a Rodri who's quiet and controlling. I don't think we need it to be a Ruben who's loud and commanding. I think we have a lot of captains on our team. We just signed the Croatian national team captain too. So I mean,
the cliche. A lot of captains on the team. Everyone's a captain.
How many cliches have I heard today? I was on the way right before you started here, and I heard, I don't know, whoever it was on 93.20, and they said funny old game, and they would just said close it down, shut it off. I said it I'm done. I'm not gonna finish. And I was like, I've heard 3 cliches today already. So hey, now we just need cliche.
You're killing it, man. Our viewers has just doubled. So thanks, mate.
It's the Reds, apparently. I'm glad that it's
all
going to get in their algorithm. The young Reds are in here with us. Cam's got the vibes going. We got young Rodri in the chat. So
Rodri.
It's been good. No, it's a pleasure to pop in with you guys. I didn't want to keep you too long. I think you might have been wrapping up, but anytime there's another Twitch stream, hit me up. Me and Joey had a good game.
Yeah,
on FIFA, and then we had some one of the main Fall Guys moments. So.
Okay, sorry, Kyle.
The producer has weighed in. Let's wrap this up, guys.
Down for a nap.
Hey, it's always a pleasure, gentlemen.
Thanks, Colton, mate.
Take care.
Call in again next time, yeah?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Take care.
Up the trouble.
Later, buddy. I'll see you soon.
Oh, brilliant. All right. Coming up on 2 hours, pal. That was really fun.
That's a good one. That's a good beginning of the comeback for summer. Yeah.
Let's go.
We had a few weeks off.
Yeah. Good for you, pal.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's the show, eh? Yeah, we had callers from US, Canada, Peru by way of Sydney, Australia, Delhi, India.
Right.
Somehow they're listening to us. I don't get
the continents.
Yeah, we're crushing it, dude. So yeah, that's the show, everybody. We'll be back at some point, probably before the season starts. It'd be my guess. Who knows what that is? But if you want to listen to the podcast, Noisy Neighbors podcast on all the podcast apps, get that out. Yeah. Get the trophy out. If you're part of a supporters club already, make sure you've got a supporters, like a end of season party lined up. We have ours tomorrow here in Dallas. It's also Mulv's birthday.
Oh, you remembered.
Tomorrow.
Wow.
So if we can get some happy birthdays, Mulv, in the chat, that'd be great.
Very kind. Very kind. Thank you.
We're gonna make sure that Mulv does in fact get his tits out for the lads tomorrow. But yeah, Noisy Neighbors podcast is the name of the show. If you want to listen to the podcast, every podcast app I would recommend not listening to it on Podbean, which is absolute dog shit. It's just terrible. We do stuff on here on YouTube and all that. Make sure you follow or subscribe, I guess. Click the bell, like the video. Twitter @NoisyPod. I guess Threads now @NoisyPod.
Hey.
We'll see if it lasts. Who knows? We do stuff on Twitch. I think that's all twitch.tv/NoisyPod. I go on there and game and hang out with guys like Colton and
all the Zoomers are on there.
A good amount of the people in the chat. Yeah. It's a lot of
like Jake.
Yeah, Jake, Ellie, Kevin, a lot of stupid
up in
goes
there.
on there. Ellie 5. A lot of stupid shit goes on in there. If you want to support the show, noisypod.com, go buy some swag, or patreon.com/noisypod for as little as $1 a month. You can support the show. Other than that, everyone, so much fun today. Thank you all for engaging, either calling in or in the chat. We appreciate you guys. And until next time, until the next whatever kind of show we do, ta-ra.
Bye.